To the breaking news overseas, what's being called the deadliest attack on Israeli citizens since October 7th. At least 11 children and teenagers killed after a rocket strike on a soccer field in Israeli-controlled Golan Heights. Israel blaming the militant group Hezbollah, vowing retaliation.
Killing at least 12 people there, with most being children, injuring dozens more. Hezbollah, however, denying responsibility for the attack. It immediately spiked tensions at the northern border with Lebanon, where the IDF and Hezbollah have been trading fire daily.
A missile strike, its origins still under investigation, ripped through a soccer field in Majd al-Shams, a Druze village in the Golan Heights. This horrific event sent shockwaves through Israel and reignited simmering tensions with Hezbollah. The world watched with bated breath, fearing a dangerous escalation in an already volatile region. Witnesses described scenes of chaos and terror as the missile slammed into the field. The peaceful afternoon erupted in screams and sirens as shocked residents rushed to help the wounded. The attack transformed a symbol of youthful joy and community gathering into a scene of carnage, a stark reminder of the ever-present threat of violence. The attack in Majd al-Shams is the latest in a series of escalating border incidents between Israel and Hezbollah. This incident, however, marks a significant increase in both the scale and audacity of the violence. The targeting of civilians, particularly children engaged in a peaceful activity, has sent shockwaves through Israeli society. The human cost of the attack is staggering. At least 12 people, most of them young soccer players, were killed. Dozens more were injured, many critically overwhelming local hospitals struggling to cope with the sudden influx of casualties. The small, tight-knit community of Majd al-Shams is reeling, struggling to comprehend the magnitude of the tragedy. Families gathered anxiously at the local hospital, desperate for news of their loved ones. The air was thick with grief and disbelief as mothers cried over the bodies of their children. The lucky ones, reunited with their families, bore the physical and emotional scars of the attack. The emotional toll on first responders, many of whom knew the victims personally, is immeasurable. The attack has left an indelible mark on the soul of Majd al-Shams. The laughter of children, once a familiar sound in the village, has been replaced by an eerie silence. The vibrant tapestry of life has been torn apart, leaving behind a community grappling with unimaginable loss and an uncertain future. Israel, reeling from the attack, wasted no time in responding. The Israel Defense Forces launched immediate retaliatory strikes against targets in southern Lebanon, vowing to hold Hezbollah accountable for the attack. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, cutting short his visit to the United States, returned to Israel to oversee the response and address the nation. The Israeli government has accused Hezbollah of orchestrating the attack, citing intelligence reports and the group's history of targeting Israeli civilians. Hezbollah has yet to claim responsibility for the strike, but its leader, Hassan Nasrallah, has previously warned of retaliation for what he called Israeli aggression against Lebanon. Tensions between the two sides remain extremely high. The Israeli public, outraged by the attack, is demanding swift and decisive action against those responsible. The government, under immense pressure to demonstrate strength and resolve, faces a delicate balancing act. Israel must respond forcefully enough to deter future attacks, but also avoid an escalation that could lead to a full-blown war with Hezbollah. The international community reacted to the attack with shock and condemnation. The United States, a staunch ally of Israel, expressed its unwavering support for Israel's right to defend itself, but urged restraint. The Biden administration, while condemning the attack, also called for a de-escalation of violence and a return to diplomacy. The European Union, the United Nations, and other world leaders also voiced their concern over the attack and called for all sides to exercise restraint. There is a growing fear that this latest incident could spiral out of control, igniting a wider conflict that would have devastating consequences for the entire region. The international community faces a critical test in this volatile situation. Diplomatic efforts to ease tensions and find a peaceful resolution must be intensified. The focus must shift from retaliation and retribution to dialogue and de-escalation. The alternative, a full-scale war between Israel and Hezbollah, is too horrific to contemplate.